Which is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, sveiki. So thank you very much for being here, for those here on site, the ones that join online, and the ones that will watch it later. And welcome to the Agile Triforce. I will be speaking about the pitfalls and lifesavers based on my experience for international Agile teams. So brief introduction. I've been working in the Agile environment for at least 9 years and with many international teams. And I found out a lot of things that always took my attention, that I needed to go deeper and that. And as a gamer, I was once playing with the Legend of Zelda series, right? This is Link. He's the main character and the Legend of Zelda. And I will tell you a story that he starts alone. He doesn't have any power, really. More or less like when you start a new job, right? When you are like, you don't know anyone, yeah, and you are trying to meet other people, see how things work. In his case, he needs to save the kingdom from the clutches of evil. But you will see by the end of the presentation how the story goes. So let's start with the first pitfall and a little bit of background. Once upon a time, this is what Agile teams used to work on. And I was surprised. Like, I don't consider myself too much of a veteran, but I was working with this back in Argentina when I was working in my first Scrum team. And there was all these walls full of sticky notes and all the columns there, and the non-Agile teams were saying, okay, what is this? They were curious. They were trying to understand how we were working, and there were all these things that we need to see. And if any stakeholder wanted to come and see what was the status, what we were working on, he or she would come and he would see, we could explain to them what was going on, share coffee together. Even in a previous experience of mine, we had the stakeholders and the users in the same building. It was like fantastic. You could not ask for more. So what could go wrong? Everything, rainbows, everything, you know, beautiful. So what could go wrong, really? Well, a globalized world appears. The thing is that from one moment to the other, you started to work with this kind of columns and this kind of sticky notes, right? With Jira or Trello, Confluence, all these kind of tools, which are very useful, but at the same time, meeting your colleagues like that, like you would never see their faces, and imagine being also the new person there, and you are working on your own, you're trying to understand how things work, and suddenly this is really like mind-blowing. It's like you don't know where to start with all of this, right? So for that, the first lifesaver is power, or better say, empower. It depends on the perspective, from the management or from the teams. From the management side, I would say it was very difficult to work on this new globalized digital world that we had at the distance. They were appealing more to control, right? So they would say they would not be micromanaging. They just want to know everything we are doing, how we are doing, and how long it takes to do it. But the thing is, as a team member also, you need to be empowered to know how to approach things, how you will do your work, and to connect with your teammates in ways that you can do what you know that you were hired to do, and do it well without micromanaging. And for that, you need to be trusted. It's like when you go to the mechanic and you want to fix your car. Maybe it's the first time you go to that mechanic. And you say, okay, I will trust the guy. Maybe he had better recommendations than the other one, or maybe he had some friend recommended to me, or something like that. So the thing is, when we hire also a professional to our team, we need to start trusting and from the team member side, you need to gain that trust. And yeah, sorry, managers, I think trust is better than control. And I think that you have to work together with your teams to say, how can we earn that trust from the management, from the people that we are working with? And of course, there are many ways, but by showing that you can self-manage, that you can do what you were hired to do in the best way possible by showing your knowledge and your skills to them. And I think that is the best way to gain their trust. And I encourage managers as well to put their trust in their teams. They were hired for a reason. They know what they are doing. And we should at least give them the chance to try. And that makes teams work better. I'm putting this example as distance because when you are just knowing your team and your management on a video call, it's very, very difficult to connect somehow and to gain that trust. So it has to be an effort from both sides. That was the first pitfall. So moving onwards, I identified a very sad, kind of dark pitfall, which is intolerance in international teams. There were so many sad comments that I've heard during my career, and they can be in the lines of misogyny, that they cannot work with women, on the xenophobia side, like how can you understand that person? I cannot work with the person. I cannot understand this accent. So no, better not change my from this team because I cannot work with these people. Or they say I will not work with people from certain countries because of certain stereotypes. Or even ageism. For example, you are working with someone older than you, has 2 masters, and says like, no, sorry, I'm older than you and I know better than you. Or the other way around. When someone is older than you, has more experience, and you that just started say, no, he's too old, he doesn't understand how things work, for example. So how do we approach this? How do we approach people that have this fixed mindset? We need to be wise. We need to think about how, what it is to be on their position. And again, this is both ways, from the one that is receiving the intolerant comment and the one that is being intolerant. And I'm putting this example because I think that we've all been in some ways maybe intolerant without wanting it, or because it just was the way we thought it was good. And I would say, what if I told you that you can learn from others, you know? It's not mind-blowing at all, but it's like something that seems so obvious. But when you are speaking with someone that brings something, for example, about not understanding the accent of somebody else, and I would ask, okay, so how does this affect your work? How does this affect your daily tasks? Let's have a conversation. Let's open up, because maybe it is an issue. But to solve that kind of issue, you need to be open-minded, from if you are the intolerant person or if you are receiving these comments as well. And you need to do it from the utmost respect. I think that's essential to engage in a conversation, even if it's something that might enrage you at the beginning, that might make you feel sad or angry. If you are approached in a respectful way about this kind of topics, I'm sure that you can learn how to solve them. For that, of course, Master Yoda tells us empathy, the key is. So yeah, I think to solve this pitfall, we need to be more empathetic towards our colleagues, understand where they're coming from, understand that we can, from the respectful side, how we can solve this issue, thinking from a problem-solving side and not just getting stuck in the problem itself, like if there would not be a solution there. So this would be the approach for intolerance. And moving on to the third pitfall, disengagement. So why we might feel alienated from our job. It could be many reasons, not the reasons like this guy, but like it's something that when you feel that the values of the company doesn't align with you, that you feel that you have shallow relationships at your workplace, or that you feel that maybe you don't really connect on terms of how the company is approaching certain things, so you feel very, very empty and you feel like you don't belong there. So, enter courage. We need to have the courage to approach certain situations that might feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, there are very needed conversations. Like, we need to do this. I believe that we need to have our own values, because sometimes when you see that a company has strong company values and we are family and things like that, basically they just want to do what we want the way we want it. And I believe, or I also coach the teams to think on what are the values for them. And it's a very complicated question, to be fair. You need to introspect, to do some introspection and say, what are my values really? And it's about asking a question like, for example, do you like to be lied? Most of you would say no, I guess. So they said, okay, so you would support transparency in the teams. You would support a certain traits that, and you would say no to being lied upon or being hidden from different things. So that's where the courage to speak up, to say these things, it's what we need when we are start feeling like, okay, we don't belong, but we work in a team. We were hired to do this job, and now I'm here, and we need to try to do the best for that. And now, this, I believe it's solved by creating your own team's culture. Because there is many talks about how the company culture is and how we want the company culture to be. But I believe that when there is a huge disengagement, when the values are not clear, when the mission, the vision, or whatever that the company would say doesn't connect with you, I would believe that you need to have your own team's culture. And by that, I don't mean siloing and being all alone and sad, like that there is nothing else to do. We are working this way, and then all the management hates you because you are working in your own ways. No, with evidence, we will show that we work better this way. After going through this introspection of what our values are, and then making our own culture, what we enjoy to do, how we enjoy working together, then we can try to have that culture and maybe even motivate others. I heard many times as well that people would say, I cannot work with this team because they don't turn on the cameras. And I would always think, like, how does that affect the work they do? Does it really affect how they engage or how they deliver something? If it might, let's have a conversation about it. But not forcing the teams to do something that they believe that it's not really necessary to do their jobs. It's completely false. I would say we don't have to force, never, team members, and I'm saying this more from a management side, that to do something that they don't feel comfortable about. You never know the background of that person. Maybe he or she doesn't want to turn on the camera because different reasons. So this was just an example. But by being attached or on your own culture as a team, it will make you feel more consolidated in what you do. Every day you will feel more connected with your colleagues. You will feel more connected with the purpose of what you were assigned to do. And hopefully you will find overall the purpose on what you're doing. So, final takeaways. Was it very fast, Luis? We are good? We are good? Okay. In these final takeaways, I would say we need to think on when we were on those situations, right? How would we react now? Hopefully, we would think in another manner how we will approach these problems, these pitfalls that I presented here, and to kind of wrap up the Link story of The Legend of Zelda at the beginning. For this, you need to summon the Triforce. So this is a legendary artifact in the Legend of Zelda games that Link, as I told you, he starts completely alone. But to save his kingdom, he goes through a lot of dangerous things along the way. And in the end, he achieves it. And our team, I believe, is our kingdom. And we need to protect that kingdom and that team in the ways that I mentioned. And this is the ones, the Lifesavers that I mentioned. So we need to have the power and being empowered, and that's achieved by trust within the team and being trusted by management. We need to have the wisdom to know how to approach this toxicity and this intolerance from other colleagues by approaching from an empathic way, being having an open mind and being with the utmost respect with our colleagues. And we need to have the courage to understand that sometimes we are not motivated and we are not engaged in what the company is all about, but we decided to be here and we want to build our own team's culture. Thank you. So we have some time for questions.
Yes, of course we have. If we have any question in the audience? Okay, so I will have 3 questions from online.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 you answered already, but let's repeat them.
Okay, no problem.
So what inspired the Triforce reference for this talk?
Well, to be fair, that Triforce that you've seen, that symbol, it's actually what the game, The Legend of Zelda series is about, but not about achieving, like just to getting an object, because it's never his object. It's what he goes through, what he learns along the way. And it's literally those 3 things that connected a lot with these 3 problems that I wanted to bring on about the distance, about the intolerance, and disengagement. So everything connected really well, and yeah, here we are.
Okay, thank you. Another one. What changes would you make transferring Agile Triforce to non-IT product markets where IT systems development is a part of other product development?
Well, to be fair, I think that this is not exclusive to IT. I think that any team can really gain some advantage from these approaches. Because if you put yourself in the different situations, it's nothing that is from a particular industry or area. So I hope that this will be useful for any industry or any area.
Okay. Any tips? How could we make international team members more included in the processes?
Definitely. I mean, I think that when you are part of a team, you need to engage as if that person would be next to you. And of course, it's difficult when you are working different time zones, different countries, but you need to try to discuss, maybe in retrospectives, what is the best way to be to communicate with the team. Let's talk about it. It's to be open as well. If you have the openness in your mind all the time to say, yeah, let's talk about it, and let's not get into arguments or offended by something. Let's say we are respectfully talking, and let's open up, and for sure we will find a solution to work better together and more included in our process.
Okay, if there are no questions, so thank you, Federico, for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. So, if there are still too many Qs and too few As, you can always contact me in my email, or you can connect with me in LinkedIn. Thank you very much.